This morning. It is Brent Harding, and you are watching the Wealth Warriors broadcast. I am always thrilled when I have an opportunity to speak to all of you. That jazzes me. What are we talking about this morning? We're talking about building your success budget. Now, one of the things that you may have noted as of last week, we've changed the format. And we've changed the format, we've condensed it. By the same token, we are going back to some fundamentals and basics. And we've split the show. We've split the show into two components. One that is on Saturday mornings from 9 to 9:30. The other is going to be on Monday evenings from 7 to 7:30. And what we're going to talk about this morning and each and every Saturday morning is going to be all about the basics, all about how we can take that paycheck and stretch it and squeeze our money back so that we can invest. The second show is going to be all about entrepreneurship, how you as an entrepreneur can create that revenue. You can retire your job if that's what you want to do, and how you can create financial independence. So we have two ways to do that. One is through that conventional job. Two is through being your own boss. See, some of us really enjoy our jobs. We like our jobs. We like that security. We don't have quite the sense of adventure. And so we're saying, great, you want to work that job? Let's make the job work for you. How about that? For those that like the sense of adventure, that they say, hey, I'm willing to work 55 plus hours a week because I get to choose and be my own boss. I get to choose when I want to take a vacation and the like. Fantastic. We're going to address you directly. So 2 shows, 2 groups, and guess what? You can decide that you want to be part of one, part of the other, or both. How about that? So for the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be sharing just that with you so that you know that that's what's going on, that there is, in fact, a different format. Some of the things are going to be the same. Others are going to change. I want to start off and say, good morning. Hey there, Bobby Walker. How are you? It's great to have you. Ed Gaskin, hello. And I've got Anthony Robinson Seymour. Great morning to you. I'm glad that you came and you joined me. Thanks so much. So I want to get started. First thing that I'd like to do is share. We've got three new members. And I want to share with you, their names are interesting. And it might take me a little bit. So for those who know your names, if I say it incorrectly, please forgive me. First of all, we have Tula Zoris. And I like something that Tula Zoris said. Now, Tula, I'm not going to divulge your age. That's something that you're going to have to do. But what she said is, at the age that she is now focusing on creating wealth. Well, welcome to the community. The second person is Nazib. Let me work on this just a moment. It's Nazib Azib Aminu Ibrahim. Yes, Zanib Aminu Ibrahim. I practiced that so many times. I cannot believe that I blew it just at the moment in which I had to say it. Okay, I will tell you that we appreciate the fact that you have joined the community. I'm most enthusiastic for you. And then we also have Kahijat Mahmoud, and she was referred by, Khadid was referred by Rabi Abukar. The statement that was given is that focusing in on being self-reliant and gaining more income. So with that being said, I am so glad. Again, we have 3, and I want to welcome them, and I know the community wants to welcome you, and tell us a little bit more about you so that we can be supportive of you. And you then get to pick which show is the right show for you. So with that being said, I want to share with you that our broadcast is going to now be brought to you by my econ, my econ. That's about my economy. And I'm going to start bringing in content from my economy for you. Why? Because I have found that it is an excellent source. Not only is it an excellent source, I'm going to show you how you can put it on your phone and carry your economy with you everywhere, all the time, that you know what your cash flow is. So henceforth, this broadcast will be brought to you by my econ. I'm going to put that in the feed, show you where my page is for you to take action. My econ is the entity that's bringing you this broadcast. Because at the end of the day, it really is about all of our economies. And you know what's interesting is I was looking at some material recently from a financial planner, and do know that I respect financial planners, I respect financial educators, but I will tell you more than anything else, we have to educate ourselves. In order for us to even have that conversation, we've got to be about the business of making sure that we understand. So when we're talking to somebody that we believe or we are interested in hiring, that we have the right questions. We know what to ask. I want to, first of all, before I go on, say great morning, Pamela Stone. It's good to see you, Pamela Stone. I love the fact that she has a company and deals with the decluttering your mind using the Stone method, because I'm asking you right now to declutter the mind of everything else that's going on so that you can take in what we're talking about, because we don't have a long period of time. However, what I want you to get out of this experience is I'm moving us to to become exponential, to move with speed, to take that information in just like we did when we were a child. And if we declutter, if we get everything out of the way, we can pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. So with that being said, let me take a moment to quickly share a little story with you. And here's the little story. I was at a cafe this week and I happened to be listening. I wasn't trying to listen in. I was sitting waiting for something. But you know, when your reticular activator, that's that little part in the brain that hears something specific, when you are in tune with that specific, what happens is you then start, you start to hear the conversations that are going on. You start finance, you can hear a conversation way over here about finance, and your mind just picks it up, and suddenly you become silent as you're listening. And so that is exactly what I was doing, is I was listening to this conversation as a third party interested in what was going on. The gentleman was meeting with his financial planner. And the thing was, the questions that he was asking led me to believe that he really wanted the information, but somewhere along the line, there was a disconnect. He was not hearing, no, rephrase that. He was depending on the person to give him all of the detail and not taking in the fact that he needs to be a participant in his lifestyle. He needs to be a participant on the journey, because at the end of the day, he is not going to be able to turn back and say, hey, it was my financial planner's fault, when he was not willing to participate. You know, we need to be about the business of identifying our needs. I am all about us meeting with a planner. However, before we do that, we need to be responsible for ourselves. Now, I see Christopher Coakley on, and I believe it's the same Christopher Coakley that I know. Great morning to you, Chris. Christopher Clem. Oh, I'm so thankful and appreciative that you're there. Nancy, hello. I want to share something with you about Christopher Coakley. I remember hearing him speak years ago, and he said something that really struck me. He said, you don't need to go this way with me, but you got to do something. You may not like what I've got, but you've got to do something. And I always remember that about you, Chris. I also remember that you like seafood, and you especially like being in New England because we've got great seafood. Sarah Vaughan Smith, great morning. I'll tell you, if you are a person that is interested in owning your own tax-exempt organization, definitely check out Sarah's page. With that being said, let's talk about the great topic of the morning, building your own success budget. Now, one of the things that I said last week was track your money. How much money are you spending on things that we're not going to say they're incidental, but we start tracking the money. How much money did you spend on coffee? Coffee is coffee in many instances is a bigger takeaway than lunch. Why? Because coffee only costs X amount of dollars. So for example, let's say you buy it at McDonald's. It's only $1. You buy the large. Let's say you buy the iced coffee. It's $1.61. Typically what happens to people is they don't just buy one. They buy multiples. And so before you know it, at the end of the day, you have literally spent $5 to $7 on coffee. We're not talking about lunch. We're not talking about dinner. We're talking strictly about coffee. So how much did you spend? Now, some of us have some vices, and one of those vices is cigarettes. How much did you spend on your cigarettes? Now, you're saying, Brent, come on, this is fundamental and it is basic. If it was so fundamental and basic, my question is, did you do the exercise? Did you track the money? I only asked you to track the money. That's all I asked you to do, was track the money and figure out how much money you are spending. And I want somebody to put in the Wealth Warrior Group feed that I tracked the money, hashtag I tracked the money, because I want to know, did you in fact track the money? Now, if you did, now I'm going to roll back. Some people say, well, Brent, you kind of built that backwards, because now I'm saying, how much money are you bringing in to your household? How much income? I want you to sit there and estimate how much income. I want you to think about the gross income that you make every week. That's one. Is there income that's coming from a part-time gig? Is there income that's coming from a part-time business? How much money do you really have to work with? Great morning, Mr. Sibley. Hello, how are you? It is good to see you. Now, Mr. Sibley is an accountant, so he knows what I'm saying about the money. Where does every dime come from? Are you one of those people that it might take you an hour to balance your checkbook because you are going to find the few cents? You're going to find that 4 cents because you are going to track every bit of money that you could possibly have to work with. Are you that kind of person? Last week, I also mentioned the fact that you can work with the deductions that you take that are taken from your paycheck, and you can utilize that money. That is income in and of itself. So we've got the paycheck. We've got the possibility of adjusting, but you've got to know what you're doing when you make the adjustment on the deductions. When you say, I'm going to have 4, 5, 6 deductions because I want to pull that money, you've got to know what you're going to do with that money, because that has become income, but it can bite you in the butt as well. So what we're talking about right now this week is your income. How much money do you really have to work with? Now, a lot of us, we become ostriches. We want to know, but we don't want to know, because if we know, then we have to deal with the reality of knowing. Maybe we're short and we need to find another avenue for income. Well, guess what? My econ has other vehicles to create income for yourself. So how much money do you need to create the lifestyle that you want to create? So we're going to start with the first avenue. Because if you have a full-time job, you have an income. You have a gross and you have a net. We're working off the net income. So what is your net income after all of the deductions? What's your net income? Write that figure down. Now, I know I'm going back real basic, but I promise you, we're going to have trajectory. But we need to know the fundamentals before we can have trajectory. So we started out with, how much money are you spending? How much money did you realize that you hadn't realized previously that you're now spending? Because I didn't even say write out your expenses yet. First, we start with what are the incidentals so that you can get a harness and realize where those dollars are going. Now I'm going forward and I'm saying to you, what is your income? How much money do you have to work with? Next week, when we talk about the expenses, we're going to have the net minus the expenses will either be a positive number or it will be a negative number, or it will be a wake-up call that says, I have got to create other revenue streams. That is a reality that we all need to embrace. 2018, year 3 of our 5-year plan. Year 3 of a 5-year plan. And that is that we must take advantage of the opportunity that is about to become before us. You remember when I talked about, you said, Brent, you've been talking about that daggone bell curve for the last 3 years. Well, guess what? Our comeuppance is coming up. Why? Because it is the bell curve. 2018, we have been in the form stage of real estate. You remember the crossroad? We have the crossroad of a coming down. We have the norm coming down, and we have the form that is going to be going into the storm. And what does that mean? That means that cash is going to be king. Credit is going to get pulled back. We're not going to find a lot of lenders or credit card companies that are going to give us deals or extend credit. They're going to start shrinking our credit availability because cash is going to be king. And deals are going to start popping up. The question is, will you have the cash in order to take advantage of the opportunity that's going to be before us? That's why I'm pulling us back to basics. Great morning, Melissa Robinson. Hi, Chico Floyd. Great morning to you. That is why I'm now saying more than ever, we've got to build a success budget. We found out last week where we need to make a shift. We may not need as much coffee as we think. We might need to break that nicotine habit. We might need to help our children understand that the allowance is going to be X and that's all you get, and you better learn how to budget it. There are a lot of things when we look at just the incidentals. If you take 25 bucks if you take 25 bucks, what are you coming home with? What did you spend it on? How much do you need for your incidentals for the week? Did you count in the lunch? All of those things. Okay, so now we haven't even built the budget yet. We just saw the incidentals so that we could get a clue. Now it's about all of the incomes. This week, it is about tracking where all income comes from. What is steady income that's coming in every week? What is income that comes from a network marketing venture that you're in? Like Linda Davis. Good morning, Linda. Linda is a travel professional and she books travel. That's extra income. It may be extra income. It could be the full-time income. Don't know. But here's the point. What is the full, steady, consistent income? Followed by what is the incidental income that may only come in once a month, may only come in once a period of time. It still needs to be recorded. What is the income that you're making from those brownies that you bake for whatever organization? What's the income that's coming in from there? What else? Are you driving for one of the taxi services? Are you using, is that extra income? Whatever income is coming in, then I want you to look at it and I want you to tier that income. What do I mean by tier the income? What I mean is what's making the most, which, let's say if you're a full-time job, that's your full-time job. What other incomes are you bringing in? Where are you spending your time? For example, are you driving for that taxi service? Is that where the next largest income for you comes in? And you're going to go down the line. Then I want you to look at something. If I get rid of these smaller things that are not producing much, and I put my energy into slot number 2 of income, can I grow some extra income? Sometimes we like something so much that we're putting time into it. And the reality is, if we put our time over here, we could actually make more money. It may make more sense to open door number 2 and then circle back to door number 3 when we're in better position, when we've accumulated the nest eggs. I'm just saying. We've got time value of money. So what's the first area that makes the most money? What's the second area that makes the most money? What's the third area? So you're looking at all those and you're coming up with real-time income. So all I want you to do this week is figure out where your income is really coming from. Then what energy, what time I need to put into it. Or what time, rather, am I putting into it? And then lastly, consider the possibility that I can dispense with income number 2 and 3 and put more, income number 4 and 5 and put more money into income number 2 and work off of those 2, because those are going to give me the funds that I need in great anticipation of what we know is coming. And what do we say? Hashtag create opportunity. Hashtag expect results. I'm just saying. We're getting prepared. 2018 is a banner year. And you have such an opportunity. We have such an opportunity. I want to make sure that we're taking full advantage of it. Get excited. Because I got to tell you something, I am rip-roaring excited for all of us because it's coming. It is coming. The things that I've talked about for the past 2 years are now in play. Cash is going to be king. I'm going to have to spend it all in one place. But I tell you this, if you do not have it, you can't spend it. We're building blocks, and now we're building them exponentially, quickly. We've got to know what we have. We've got to know the right questions to ask. Next week, we'll be focusing on expenses. However, this week, I want you to declutter, clear the mind, and only focus in on where the income is coming from. So we know what we're doing. We know what kind of money we have. Your lifestyle is up to you. We have nobody. At the end of the day, we're the ones that make the decisions, yes? 5 fingers at the end of our own arm, attached. So we have no one to blame if, in fact, we are not the success that we want to be. And this is all about successes. All about successes. So let me do a recap right quick and say this. We had 3 new members come into the Wealth Warrior community, and I want to give a high five to you and say, welcome aboard. I shared with everybody by way of announcement that effective Monday, which is October 30th, there will be another broadcast. It will be a broadcast that is totally focused on entrepreneurship. Full-time entrepreneurs, part-time entrepreneurs, those individuals that are ready to take the leap or transition into entrepreneurship. The topics are going to be different, and in some instances, they'll be the same topics. However, they'll be brought to you from the perspective of entrepreneurship. If you are ready to take that leap, then you will meet me on Monday at 7 p.m. It will be known as the Revenue Generator Edge. I will be putting that page up over the weekend so that you can be a part of the process come Monday. On Saturday, it will be Wealth Warrior Group, Wealth Warrior Broadcast. And on Monday, it will be the Revenue Generator Edge. Do you want the edge for generating revenue? If you do, you'll join me there. I am delighted that you are going to build your success budget so that you are ready come 2018, because there are going to be deals. Hold on to the cash. The crossroad is happening. We've got one coming down, we've got the other coming up. This is what we've been waiting for. The question is, will you be ready when it arrives? What is it? It is the form that's led to the storm in our economy. It happens. It cannot be denied. With that being said, I want to thank all of you for joining me this morning. Remember, I said 30 minutes, compact. Get ready for next week. It'll be all about the expenses, but right now, focus in on the income. Where is your money coming from? Calculate it and be ready for next week. Go out today and be absolutely amazing. See you next week. Enjoyed your company this week. Bye now.